My name is Lizzie, and this is Lizzie's Literary Life, and today we are beginning a 24 in 48 hour crochet and reading vlog. So, my goal is to crochet and listen to audiobooks for 24 full hours within a 48-hour period. The 48 hours has already started, so I have to keep this intro short, because I gotta get back to reading. But, first thing I wanted to tell you is the rules. So, I'm going to be listening to audiobooks for 24 full hours, and crocheting the whole time with just a couple exceptions. And the exceptions are because I am doing this 75 hard reading challenge right now, where I have to eyeball read for 30 minutes every day. So that will count towards my 24 hours. Just those 30 minutes each day will count towards my 24 hours, but won't be crocheting, obviously. I have to audio and crochet for 30 minutes for the 75 hard, but obviously that's going to happen. And then I have to move my body for 30 minutes each day for the 75 hard, and I will be doing that while listening to audiobooks, so I won't be crocheting during that, but it's still going to count towards the 24 hours. Make sense? But otherwise, except for that half hour of eyeball reading and the half hour of movement each day, the rest of the 24 hours will be entirely listening to audiobooks and crocheting. The other thing I wanted to say in this intro is I wanted to give you some little progress updates so we can have a little before and after for each of my crochet whips right now, my works in progress. So I'm going to move you over so I can show you pictures on the screen of my crochet goals. I have 2 crochet projects that are actually completely done. I just need to weave in the ends. And those are this bucket hat and this little bikini top situation, crop top situation, that are both made out of the Pride yarn from Joann's, the Big Twist Living. Those 2 I just need to weave in the ends, so that's like kind of first up is weaving in those ends. So those 2 projects will be done. And then I have this purple little top that I've been working on for a while, and I just have to make it a little bit longer and it'll be done. Just getting to the end of that ball of yarn that's attached. And once it's the length I want, it's done after I weave in the ends. And then some projects that are a little bit less far along. I'm working on this patchwork cardigan for my fiance, that I will show you the inspiration behind the pattern right now. And then I will show you my pattern for it on the screen right now. And so each of these squares I've made, I think 8 out of 64 squares I have to make, and there are 2 squares that are currently in progress. So this project is not a priority project for the readathon, but I do want to finish those 2 squares that I have started. And then a big priority project for this readathon is my genre blanket. So every year I make a blanket based on the books that I read with color corresponding to genre, and I am way behind on my genre blanket. So you'll see this is how far I am. I'll maybe put on the screen like how many rows behind I am because I didn't actually check, but I'm way behind, so I want to catch up on that. And then the last project that I'm planning to work on is my Taylor Swift blanket for Danielle from Danielle Reads. The pattern part, as you can see, is actually done. I'm just doing white around the border to make it bigger. And the goal is to add 10 inches to each of the sides by going around and around. So we'll see how far I can get on that. And those are my crochet project plans. I do have a couple other projects that I am also working on because I always have so many whips. So maybe I'll pull out something else as well, but those are the plans. And then my audiobook plans, I have 1 audiobook in progress, and that is Hester by Lori Lico Albanese. I have just a little bit left in that, so first order of business is to finish that. And then I do want to start and finish 3 complete books because that's one of the challenges for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, hosted or created by Q Wordy. So I'll link that information about that down below. But one of the challenges is to read 3 books start to finish in a 24-hour readathon. So I want to do that. So I have some shorter books picked out so that I can make sure I get through all 3. Those are The Perfection Trap, Sea of Tranquility and Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen, which is also one of the throwback book club picks that I gotta finish. And then I have some other audiobooks that may happen, may not happen. I'll keep you updated. I gotta get back to reading. So we are about halfway through the 48 hours, and I have read for 11.4 hours. So I'm a little bit behind, but not irredeemably so. You did see most of my finished crochet projects as I finished them. So I finished weaving in the ends on that hat and the top from the lesbian yarn. I finished the purple top. I finished those 2 squares that were in progress. And then the goal was to work on my genre blanket, but I wanted to sit outside, and you can't work on a crochet blanket outside in the summer. It just doesn't work. So I did 2 more blue squares for the patchwork cardigan. And now I'm ready. I'm inside, I'm showered. I'm ready to work on my beautiful genre blanket. So many ends to weave in, but it is what it is. We'll get to it when we get to it. When I started this readathon, I was 18 rows behind. And of course, the books that I've finished since starting the readathon and will finish during the readathon will then be more rows I have to do. But the goal is to get those 18 rows done. Yeah, books I have finished. I finished Hester, which I was most of the way through beforehand. So I finished that. That was 3 stars. It was fine. And then I read start to finish, listened to Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen, which is one of the throwback book club picks for June. So I'm actually a little late on reading it. It is currently July 3rd. I'm doing this challenge from the 2nd to the 4th of July. And that was good. 4 stars, I think. And then I also listened start to finish to The Perfection Trap by Thomas Curran, which is the Junie B. Jones read-along pick for July. If you don't know what the Junie B. Jones read-along is and you're intrigued, I will link information down below. But yeah, that's the halfway point update. I gotta get back to reading, back to stitching, but it's going well so far. I don't feel tired out. Last night I was ready to be done for the day when I finished for the day, but I'm not tired out. I'm not tired of crocheting or tired of listening to audiobooks, and I'm about to start a new one. I think I'm gonna start The King of Infinite Space. Can't remember who it's by, but it'll be on the screen. And yeah. I did it. I will put my Bookly screenshot on the screen right now. Bookly never gives me the little green check mark for hours. I don't know why, even though it clearly says 24.1 hours out of 24. Whatever, it doesn't give me the check mark, but I did it. I did it. I will admit that during the last few hours today, I was not crocheting the whole time. So maybe I didn't do it. but I just needed to lie down with my eyes closed. But I was still listening, I was still reading, so I'm gonna say I did it. And we're gonna do first a crochet wrap up and then a book wrap up real quick. So the first thing I finished was this purple top. You saw it on earlier in the video. I really like it. I think I might adjust the tie in the middle because I think it's not quite centered, but I'm really happy with it. I really like the way it fits, so that's exciting. I've been working on that for a while. And then I wove in the ends for this hat. You saw it on earlier, but here's it on again. This hat and this little bralette top. Again, you saw it on earlier. I just wove in the ends. That was pretty quick. And then I worked on these squares for the patchwork cardigan. My goal was to finish, these two were in progress, and I finished those two. And then I did 2 more blue ones. And I started another plain tan one, which was kind of not in the plan, but doing these are just really easy. It's easy on my hands. This 5.5mm hook with the yarn is really easy on my hands, and I could do it outside. Genre blanket wise, I wanted to do more on this, but I actually ran out of yarn. So let me show you. Here it is. And I think I started today, or this readathon, I started on this medium pink row right here. So I did the medium pink. I think I finished that row. I did 2 dark pink, 2 light pink, and I'm working on my second medium pink row, and I ran out of the medium pink. You can see this is a loose end there, and the yarn store, by the time I ran out of yarn on this yesterday, the yarn store was closed, and today is the 4th of July, so it's closed again today. So I need more yarn in order to continue this, but I did make some good progress on that. And then the Taylor Swift blanket, you saw it in the beginning, it looked like it was done, but what I'm doing is I'm making it bigger by going around the edge with double crochets. And when I started, I was about halfway through the first round of double crochets, and now I've completed the second round of double crochets going around. My goal, I think what I'm gonna want is 20 rounds. So I'm like not actually that close to finishing, but that's the size that Danielle wants it. I think it's gonna be a good size. I think the pattern's gonna look good with that white border. And then I just have to line the back with fleece so that it's soft on one side and it hides this. So yeah, that's what I got through crochet wise. Working on this, it was pretty hard on my hands. And so I was struggling to do it for too long in a row, especially when I was getting tired. And I'm gonna probably need another thing of white yarn to get my 20 rounds, but we'll see. And yeah, that's all I finished crochet wise. And then I gave you a little bit of a book update last time I checked in the middle of the vlog, but I did finish Hester. I finished, what was the second book I finished? Along for the Ride. I read the whole thing. I read the entirety of The Perfection Trap, and then I started The King of Infinite Space, which I ended up soft DNFing. I just was not getting into it. The writing style, maybe it was the audiobook, was just not doing it for me, so that's a soft DNF for now. During a readathon, you really have to have something you're engaged in. So I picked up 0 Days by Ruth Ware, which I ended up giving 2.5 stars. I didn't like it very much, but it was very easy to listen to. It was really like, it propelled along. The characters were making really dumb decisions, but it was like, you gotta know what happens. It's a thriller. So yeah, I listened to the entirety of that yesterday, and then today I listened to the entirety of Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel, which I enjoyed. I think I maybe would have enjoyed it more if it was not at the end of a readathon like this, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll reread it sometime. Actually, I would like to reread it sometime with my eyeballs, because I think I would like it a little bit more. And I also, for my 75 hard eyeball reading, I did end up finishing I Am by Maggie O'Farrell, which I would grab for you, but it's too far away. I just read an hour of that, 2 of my 30-minute blocks, on Tuesday and Wednesday, because today's Thursday. I haven't done my eyeball reading yet today. But yeah, I did end up finishing that, so you'll see that in the Bookly stats, or you did see that in the Bookly stats. I think it says I finished 6 books. So Hester, Along for the Ride, The Perfection Trap, 0 Days, Sea of Tranquility, and I Am were the 6 books that I finished, though 2 of those were I was pretty far along in prior to starting. And then I read a chunk of The King of Infinite Space. I may go back to it at some point, but it's a softie enough for now. And yeah, I, for the most part, had a really good time. Today was a little bit rough. Like I said, I didn't crochet the whole time today. So sorry about that. But yeah, I had a good time. I made a lot of progress in crochet projects, which is what I wanted. And I did it. So give me a comment down below about something, and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one coming very soon. Bye.